Today we're going to be talking about a new horror release called Lovely, Dark, and Deep. Before we get into it, I wanted to tell you, I would call these like mid-level spoilers. I'm not going to tell you the final reveal, and I'm not going to tell you aspects of the ending, but I am going to give away a lot. So, I liked this movie. So if you want to watch it without those mid-level spoilers, turn back now. Otherwise, come with me into the woods. This movie was brought to my attention by the Possessed by Horror YouTube channel. And I don't know what piqued my interest, I guess because it's in the woods. And I really like that setting for horror movies. Lovely, Dark, and Deep was released in 2023 and is directed by Teresa Sutherland. It is also starring Georgina Campbell, who you may know from Barbarian. I think that's something I know her from. This movie is about a woman who's very kind of quiet and weird, and she finally, apparently after many attempts, gets this job as a backcountry park ranger in a national forest. So what she does is she gets stationed at this like cabin slash tent sort of building where she is based out of, and she goes on patrols also. So sometimes she'll go on patrol for a few days and like backpack and camp out there, and always comes back to her station. And she's going to be there all summer. The reason she wants to do this is to investigate the disappearance, the childhood disappearance of her little sister. I feel like that's pretty obvious from the beginning, but I still I wanted to warn people right off the bat about spoilers. So this film has a central theme of people going missing in the woods. Love it. So it turns out it was highly appropriate for me, not just about the woods, but about missing people and basically unsolved mysteries. First, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about this theme and the inspiration for this film, which I haven't read anything about the making of this film, but I can tell that it is inspired by what I tend to refer to as the missing 411 phenomenon, even though David Paulides is not the only person doing research on this, but the missing 411 phenomenon is the umbrella term I use personally to describe the phenomenon of people going missing under very mysterious circumstances in national parks. Other researchers that just come to the top of my head are Steph Young and Steve Stockton, like to cover missing people in the woods. And a lot of these cases are very, very weird. There are so many theories. It tends to be very popular, like in the paranormal community. There's a lot of theories about like, is it fairies? Is it aliens? Is it Bigfoot? Is it a cult? Is it the government? Like you can go down a rabbit hole trying to make sense of these missing people. I also feel like the film probably drew a little bit of inspiration from what is referred to as like the smiley face murders. It sounds so stupid, but it is also about people who mysteriously go missing or get killed in or around bodies of water, or are found around bodies of water. And I do see a lot of like popular themes we hear in these cases of like, it's been reported sometimes that someone who's missing can see and or hear the search party, but the search party cannot perceive them. There's also the distinctive feature in a lot of these cases that a person's clothes will be found. And we get to see that in the movie. Oh, and then of course there's also the missing time and or distance that gets reported, not just in these missing 411 cases, but also in alien experiences. So I am very interested in these subjects. Not to like go on a tangent, but I also made my own short film about this very subject, this very phenomenon, which is crazy. I love this topic of a person who just disappears. Or a person who goes missing in the woods. It should be simple, but it's not. A lot of times it's just not simple. There's no simple explanation. There's no logical explanation. The woods can seem so straightforward to us. It's just trees and trails, right? But films like this and the cases that inspired films like this remind you that the woods are just so much more. There's so much mystery in there, and that they could be a portal to or housing something that we cannot understand. I don't mean to go on a little paranormal tangent there. Like I said, I liked this film for many reasons besides just this theme of missing people in the woods. But the film is not perfect, so let's get into it. Ugh, man, this film has just a really cozy and peaceful beginning. When our main character, she's called Lennon. I don't like, whatever. I don't like that name. Why can you, sorry if your last name is Lennon, but why pick a last name that's so, it doesn't roll off the tongue, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so Lennon arrives at her little hut, and it's like, it's giving like Girl Scout camp. I feel like I've stayed in one of these before, but it's like got a wooden structure, but it has like canvas walls. So it's kind of like a tent, but kind of like a cabin. And she just like moves in and gets settled in, and I freaking love it. It's so cozy. And I do love that we get to see a little bit of her like everyday activities, like how she showers out there. I wish they would have shown her like cooking on a fire or something. I don't know. But yes, it like brought back like Girl Scout camp memories, but also I couldn't help thinking like, that looks really freaking nice. Like picturing myself there. The scenery is beautiful. I don't know where this was shot, but like the landscapes are gorgeous. We get to see Lennon go out on patrol, do a little bit of backpacking, do a little bit of hiking, do a little bit of camping. We got to see a little bit of like what her job was. I guess it's largely just to be on standby, but she does go around and kind of like clean up and pick up where people have camped. But we don't get to enjoy that for very long, because then they just jump right into this montage of like days are passing, and just showing a little bit of like what she's doing. She goes out, she comes home. Like, I feel like we rushed through that a little bit. Yeah, I would have liked to settle in more and enjoy that time a little bit more and not do a like sped up montage. Soon, some scary moments ensue. Oh my god. The film has some really freaking scary moments, okay? I was watching this by myself, home alone at night, and I thought I might have to quit. Okay, so since we're doing the spoilers and everything, when she is sleeping in her cabin and it is just dead silent, and you see like this shadow going by her cabin, and you like hear someone walking, I was like, oh my god. And then when he starts pounding on her door, I like jumped out of my skin. Oh my god. That was so scary. It's a scary ass movie. I mean, good job. And then the other scene later on where that guy's like crawling behind her tent. I just loved it up to this point. I feel like I was starting to catch on a little bit to, I guess you could say, the conspiratorial nature of this film. But then, yeah, then things get turned on their head. I didn't really like the middle stretch of this movie. We are launched into this sort of psychedelic, fever dream, like surreal, exploratory journey. A lot of it, I just wasn't sure what the intent was for us or for our main character. A lot of it was her exploring her childhood trauma, which I'm kind of tired of. I don't know why I'm supposed to care about her childhood trauma, because I want to know why I should be afraid to go in the woods. I want to know why I should be afraid to go into the woods. I don't want to know about Lemon's life. I'll take a little bit of Lemon's life, but I don't want to go into her subconscious. We had so many freaking flashbacks in this movie. You really, I mean, they only really had to give us like one, and we can piece it together. Okay. I don't know why they flashed back like 25 times. And then we got flashbacks when we were in like the dream world thing. Yeah, again, I'm not really sure what all was supposed to be going on in that dream world. Like, there's probably some symbolism that actually had intention behind it. But like, there's even little pieces of cannibalism in there. And like, what was that? Just to like scare her or what? Just to show her that this isn't a place she wants to stay? Not really sure. I understand why this like fever dream is what I keep calling it. Why it's been put here. It's very reminiscent of something like the fairy realm or an alternate dimension or even like the upside down from Stranger Things. I get it, but I feel like it lasted too long. And the messaging was unclear. Now, after that, I do like where they went with the explanation and the ending. The ending was satisfactory. For me, I feel like it might get on some people's nerves because it is vague and open-ended. But, I mean, that's what the real life explanation is at this point as well. So all you can do is just wonder and let your mind wander off, and it probably is gonna go somewhere crazy. And I love that. Possessed by horror, I feel like she gave a little bit away when she called this a cosmic horror, which is why I'm spoilering this. But yeah, I would probably describe it as cosmic as well. At least that's where your mind goes, you know? So I love the fact that National Park Service is in on it. I mean, it's kind of similar to how a lot of us think the government is probably compliant with aliens, allowing them to do stuff because they have some sort of a deal, you know? I feel like that's the same kind of picture they're painting in this film when it comes to them and the National Park Service. It's very chilling. It's very scary. It's a very creepy overall prospect. And yes, by the end, I think it has told me why I should be afraid to go into the woods. And you may have heard me say before, it is fear you can take with you. Because after you watch this movie, you're probably gonna look around a little more next time you go into the woods. I think it was a good movie. I just don't like the extended dream sequence in the middle. Because the whole, like, childhood trauma, exploring my own psychology, like, that is the same reason why I really didn't vibe with No One Will Save You, which had the same kind of character unpacking her own baggage. I don't care about this character's baggage. I want to get scared. I feel like the film gave up too much when it comes to character building, scene setting, story developing. They overlooked those things to put more emphasis on that dream sequence, that surreal section of the movie. And that bothered me because my brain could think of like so many things I would rather see. And so many things I'd rather have been expanded upon. So many questions didn't get answered that could have very simply been answered. Like, oh, why didn't they tell Lennon about what was going on? Because it seems like all the other Rangers knew. So why didn't they like fill her in a little bit? I'm not sure what their like orientation schedule is. But yes, speaking of orientation, I also would have liked to see those like opening scenes of her getting training and everything with the other Rangers. I would have liked to see that expanded upon a little bit more. Maybe meet some other Rangers. Like, why don't we meet anybody else? We could have met other Rangers and they could have all been like kind of weird or kind of like creepy or scary or something, like, or acting like they all knew something that she didn't know. Why couldn't we do that? And that, like, apparently there are rumors about her, but like, what were the rumors? They didn't tell us. And when she met someone, she was like, I'm not crazy. Like, why would we think you're crazy? Like, are you gonna fill her in or what? I would like to know a little bit more. It sounded like she was trying to get this job for a long time. Why was it so hard to get the job? And what was she doing before? And how did she get the job if she doesn't even talk? And why couldn't they make her talk more? I don't know. Like, I feel like she was kind of lazily written. Like, let's just make her not really say or do or feel anything. Oh yeah, another thing I would like to see, going back to the beginning when I was talking about that montage that she rushed through. I would have liked to see her have a few weird experiences in the woods, just like little things here and there where she's like, what? Or maybe big things, I don't know. I would have liked a few more creepy things to happen in the woods to raise that tension. I did want to take a moment for that tension, that feeling of utter vulnerability in those woods. There was a moment where I was like, nothing is safe. Your canvas hut isn't safe. Your fabric tent isn't safe. Hiding behind a tree isn't safe. Like, nothing is safe. The woods are just, you're completely vulnerable. It was so freaky. Oh yeah, I also would have liked to see a little bit more from that head ranger. Like, why is everyone so scared of her? And I don't know. I feel like we should have gotten to know her a little bit better so that at the end, what she did would have been more impactful. Yeah, ultimately, I think this was a really good movie. Could have been scarier. Could have been a little more interesting. Could have done without that dream sequence in the middle. But overall, super fun. And it stays with you. Okay, that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed. I know I was all over the place. And again, this was another pretty random movie for me to review, but I wanted to talk it out. So hope you had fun. I will see you soon in the next video. Ciao.